everything, so we're recording.
Okay. So guys, I'm recording. We're recording this kind of like overview of what you guys need to do for the midterm practical, and Dr. Van and I, he suggested to do this little, overview just to go on the steps of how we're gonna be grading and what are we gonna be looking for. Okay.
So you can grade yourself.
That way, yeah. You just review these today, and then from there, you will be able to get a better score. Okay. Let's get started first with custom impression trays. And the custom impression trays, what we're checking here, its trays are exactly 2 to 3 millimeters short of the labial buccal lingual vestibule and the lingual buccal frena. What does that mean? Remember that these custom impression trays needs to be short from the deepest part of the vestibule, right? And we're gonna be checking these 2 to 3 millimeters short of that, okay?
Now these examples we have are not examples of perfection, far from it.
Right.
So we can actually point out things that are wrong where you would lose points possibly.
For example, this. Look at this. Can you see it there, Willie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm about 6 millimeters away from it. Now, that will be taking some points off. Do you see how the frena here is not completely free or relieved 2 to 3 millimeters, right? On the other side, we got all this part here exactly at 2 to 3 millimeters, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. And that's exactly what we're gonna be checking. Okay, now check again the frenos. The frenos are not relieved. The frenos are not relieved. If these are not relieved, then we're gonna start taking points out of this step. Okay, now when it says maxillary tray extends posteriorly to a curve connecting the hamular notches to the foveas palatinis. Remember, hamular notches right here, hamular notches right here, and foveas palatinas. Okay, so that's the posterior extension of this. So what do you think about this, guys? Right? So we are short from it, but we need to get all the way down to the hamular notches. Okay? Now, on the lower, let's take a lower model. The mandibular tray covers the retromolar pads without extending onto the distal landing area. So the retromolar pads, again, remember how we mark them? Right there, right? So I need to impress the retromolar pads, right? And I need to go back from it. We're good?
Mm-hmm. Got you.
And then I'm going to place it right there. And if it goes back to the retromotor pads, we are good. Back, but not extend to the landing area, right? Trays must have an outline of the wax spacer and the tissue stops. That's one of the most important things. An outline of the tissue stops. Do you see here the tissue stops? And then an outline to where it falls short from that tissue stop right there. Okay, that's the line I'm looking for. All around there. Okay. Now, when we go to tray form and thickness, remember the trays, contrary of the base plates, trays need to have some thickness. Okay, and the thickness needs to be uniform and matches the initial thickness of the VSC material. Not over thick, not thinner. Okay? So do you see? Tray extension and fit, it's 40%. Tray form and thickness, it's 20%. The VLC material is a properly light polymerization with not flaky areas. Remember when we put this, when you finish and put it onto the polymerization or the triad unit, you need to take it off. Make sure to take it off. Make sure these areas here, the periphery of these areas, is completely cured. If not, you might go as well and put it back in there just without this, so you can get all the periphery nice and cured. And of course, finish at neatness. This is far away from being finished and neat, right? So this is something, a big no-no, and it's 10% of the grade. So this is very easy if you do the job correctly and if you trim it correctly. But everything has to be free of any debris, have to look nice, have to be pretty. Okay, the cast also. But the cast, like I was telling you guys pick your battles. Cast and trays exhibit no chips or cracks, but it's only 2 points. 2 points out of the 10%. Okay? So I think what you need to really worry is about your tray extension, your finish and neatness, and then the handle and finger rest. We're gonna be giving you, and I want everybody to use the aluminum finger
The handle, yeah.
handle rest or finger rest handles. Okay, in the lower, and it's so nice because you can always bend them and put them however you want, even. And then when you're ready to pour them up, you break them, and you can also use them like that. Very important. You put your finger rest. Okay, look guys, that's 30% of your grade. Okay, they have to be enough or the sufficient length to be able to hold it, and that's why it's so important or so much nicer to use these aluminum handles. Okay.
Of course, the cast they're using is the one they did the anatomical drawings on. So
You guys are not using the cast we provide for base plates and wax rims. You are using the cast to fabricate this. You're gonna use the older cast, the ones you did the anatomy project on. Those are the models you're using for custom importation trays at this point. Okay. Pretty much that's it. I don't want to take too long on this. Just make sure you get a good job on this. This needs to be done all from scratch that day.